Global warming is no longer a distant threat. It's happening now, right before our eyes. The planet is heating up, glaciers are melting, and sea levels are rising at an alarming rate. But just how bad will it get? What cities and countries are at risk of vanishing beneath the ocean? And most importantly, can we stop it? Stay tuned as we uncover the shocking truth about global warming and what's coming in the next 50 to 100 years. First, let's break it down. What exactly is global warming? Simply put, global warming is the rise in Earth's average temperature due to increased levels of greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide. These gases trap heat in our atmosphere, causing a greenhouse effect. Before the Industrial Revolution, CO2 levels were about 280 parts per million ppm. Today, they're over 420 ppm, the highest in millions of years. This extra heat leads to melting ice caps, rising sea levels, extreme weather, and changes in ecosystems worldwide. The Earth's temperature has risen by 1.2 degrees Celsius, 2.2 degrees Fahrenheit, since the late 19th century. While this might not sound like a lot, even a small increase can have devastating effects. In fact, the past decade has been the hottest in recorded history, and if we continue at this rate, we could exceed 2 degrees Celsius of warming within the next 30 years, pushing the planet toward dangerous and irreversible changes. One of the most direct consequences of global warming is sea level rise. Right now, sea levels are rising at about 3.3 millimeters per year, but this number is increasing as more ice melts. Scientists predict that by 2100, sea levels could rise by at least 2 to 6 feet, or even more if ice sheets in Antarctica and Greenland collapse faster than expected. But that's just the beginning. If the entire Greenland ice sheet melts, sea levels would rise by 23 feet. If all of Antarctica's ice melted, it would add another 200 feet, enough to submerge major coastal cities and entire countries. Now let's get to the big question. Which places are most at risk? If sea levels rise by just 3 feet, more than 600 million people will be affected. If they rise by 10 feet, entire nations will disappear. Let's break it down by region. Miami, Florida, one of the most vulnerable cities. Scientists predict that much of Miami could be underwater by 2100. New York City, Lower Manhattan, Brooklyn, and Queens will be severely flooded. The subway system could be unusable. New Orleans, already below sea level, and with rising oceans, it may become uninhabitable. Houston and Texas coastlines, more frequent hurricanes and flooding will threaten millions. Venice, Italy, already flooding regularly. By 2100, Venice could be submerged. The Netherlands, over 25% of the country is below sea level. Despite massive seawalls, it may struggle to keep the water out. London, UK, flood defences like the Thames Barrier may fail as sea levels rise. Bangladesh, rising waters could displace over 15 million people. Jakarta, Indonesia, sinking so fast that Indonesia is moving its capital city. Mumbai, India, and Shanghai, China, home to millions at risk of major flooding. The Maldives and Tuvalu may disappear entirely by 2050. Sydney, Australia, coastal flooding will intensify. Alexandria, Egypt, ancient landmarks could be lost to the sea. Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, increasing floods and stronger hurricanes. If all glaciers and ice sheets melted, sea levels could rise by over 200 feet, putting up to 10% of the world's land underwater and forcing over 1.5 billion people to relocate. Even in less extreme scenarios, cities like Miami, Jakarta, and Venice will struggle to survive. But all hope is not lost. There are ways we can slow down global warming and prevent the worst impacts. Here's how. Switching to renewable energy, solar, wind, and hydroelectric power instead of fossil fuels, cutting down emissions, reducing our reliance on cars, airplanes, and coal power plants, reforestation, planting trees, and protecting rainforests, better city planning, building higher seawalls, better drainage systems, and sustainable infrastructure. Global warming is real, and it's happening faster than we expected, but we still have time to act. Every small change counts. The question is, will we act fast enough to save our future? Screen fades to black, text appears. What do you think? Comment below and share this video.